All right, big fella, let's talk about one commonality between all the tour pros that you teach. There are 6 out here at the Dubai event on the DP World Tour that Liam is working with. One element of their golf swing, a body part, which all of them at times need maintenance or a slight adjustment of to improve their game that week. What is it?
Their right arm. There's no two ways about that. Yeah, 100%. It's a very, very influential part of the golf swing and how it works, how it sets up in, first of all, in the address position, and how it works up to the top in relation to kind of where it is in relation to us, impacts a hell of a lot of things, whether that be how the shaft lowers, how the club face points at impact. There's so many common themes that we see with tour pros in relation to where that is. Exactly. So first of all, the address position, because we can't really achieve what we're trying to achieve in the right arm if it's not in 2 different ways. So firstly, if I face my palm towards the camera there, I'm going to start to see my elbow point forward. Very, very good address position to have. That's a little bit more rotated. One of the most common themes that we see with players is we almost start to see this way.
Oh, yeah.
Caused by one thing and more than one thing is tension, okay?
Huge.
So huge. Now, if I'm going to sit this in a position, in my address position now where this right elbow is rotated outward a fraction, I'm now going to make sure if kind of my tension now on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the tightest I could hold this club, I'm running at a 1 or a 2 here. It's that soft, okay? So that's going to now allow this to bend, fold, rotate the correct way up to the top of the backswing, which is very, very important.
Yeah, I love that. And so just firstly touching on the setup point of this, guys, and yes, we're talking about the better player in this video, the tour pro. We're getting a little bit more specific with the mechanics of this trail arm, but simplified for every golfer out there, this plays a huge role. So you can certainly get some advice out of this. From the setup, there is essentially 3 main positions we could look at. We've got the most rotated. So if you imagine doing this feeling at address and the inside of the elbow crease would be facing out towards the camera. You've got about halfway, so let's call that 45.
Nice.
And then you've got it in. Now, what we see is there is a difference between where this is pointing and the inside of our palm. And one of the biggest faults, Liam, that I see with players is they will direct this and this in the same manner towards the club, which then has this big retraction, folding, separating move.
And then instantaneously when we see that, and that's a very common thing that we also see in tour players as well, is that now what are we going to see? We see a retraction in relation to my body, and therefore we see an independent arm movement up to the top. Now all of a sudden, my elbow spacing, the distance my elbow started is now got greater, okay? And now as a result of that, what are we going to see? Definitely the most common thing we see out and over with this club head and shaft staying too high and this staying too far back. Now equally to that, if you went back into the correct position, so now I'm going to place this exactly, we're almost in the middle of those 2 positions that you just explained there with very little tension. And now you put your right hand on the golf club. If I just even got my finger and thumb here, placed it between your right elbow and your rib cage, and you just rotate it up to the top now. Well, exactly. We're now starting to see a beautiful relationship between the rib cage and the right arm, and look at the distance between the elbows now, okay? Much stronger position to be in, definitely, because of now, obviously, the influence that's going to have upon the club face, which is very important. But the second thing, more to the point, is that as you now swing down, we're going to start to see the club head want to fall and trail you a fraction. And not only that, it's much easier for this elbow to get back to where it started.
I'm smiling, mate, because it feels so good. That's why. Especially as it's going to start move into this position.
Exactly right. And even if you haven't obviously got somebody to stand there to give you that kind of finger and thumb reference that I just have done, well, a really, really simple drill, if you're someone who's suffering with this right elbow almost disconnecting and flaring, is if I even held the golf club with my right hand only and just place the back of my left hand, and you just place that under your left arm, keeping this nice and soft, and I just made some rotations to the top, I've now equally got that same position. This is rotated. You can see now it's in front of my rib cage, and if I place my left hand on there now, the distance between my elbows, perfect.
All right, so starting from address, one of the biggest keys here, and we're going to put this together that no matter what level of golfer you are at home, guys, you have a system to follow to achieve this tour look that Liam was just talking about. And I think from the setup, to ensure that we've got a reduction of tension in the arm.
Massive.
We also have the elbow crease out and then a secure hold. One of my favorite exercises, Liam, is to essentially just hold the golf club with your backhand, so the right hand for the right-hander, and grip it whatever feels like the same as you would hold a hammer.
Yep.
And if you can hinge that puppy straight up and down and bang it in,
Got it.
you've got some fold in the wrist and also in the elbow. When you let that golf club come there, now it feels long and relaxed.
Exactly right.
We're then going to grab the front hand, which is one of my favorite exercises I give to pretty much everyone. Place it on the outside of that back arm and fold the hand back a bit.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect. So now as you now swing that up to the top and you just, you're not really applying any pressure on that. All you're doing now is just keeping that. You see this relationship of the elbow in front of the body, but not only that, this effect it has to your right shoulder, the effect it has to the right wrist. Fantastic.
And everything. If I just put that lead hand, that left hand, back on the golf club here, guys.
You now see this left wrist flat straight away, club face square straight away. But now because you've created this relationship between your right elbow and your body rotation, you're now in sync as such. Loose phrase, but absolutely bang on for this one here.
For sure.
So now as a result of this, you just rotate on into the golf ball. Everything's matched up. Everything's ready to go. Club's falling into position for you and you're able to move around. Exactly. Fantastic. You've got it.
I honestly think this is my favorite and possibly the best drill that players at home during winter, if they can't get to the range, and players of any type to understand the way that the arm, the right arm specifically, has such an influence over every aspect of the golf swing. Club face, swing plane, body pivot.
No doubt.
Just grab that behind. Get a feeling, guys. Swing into the top, stopping. Okay, hands are in front of the chest like every high-level golfer. That's going to enable you to get it back in front and then follow through.
And not only that, this is a drill that you're doing in motion, right? So it's very easy to, you've seen players before work on some right arm drills, but the body's very static as they're doing it. Well, this drill here, we're obviously not keeping that body static. We're still rotating. We're still moving our pressure around, but we're able to do that in motion to get a reference of where that is in relation to my body at the top when I've rotated.
Mate, absolutely love it. So I'm going to map this feeling out a couple more times, and I'm going to go ahead and hit it. So pivoting nicely.
Very, very good.
Great structure there. That feels fantastic.
Now we see the elbow space.
Hand
Perfect. You got it.
Elbow space sounds great. Okay, let's set up. Let's shell this one down there.
Yeah, really nice.
Mate, felt fantastic. Loaded up perfectly. Nice little feel at the top where the club was supported. Love it. Cheers.
Love that, man.